viewers, this is the Stepping Stone Story Time with Hafi. How are you doing? I bring to you today another story. This story has actually mapped my mind since I was a young girl. The story is about a man. He was a reverend and he was also an activist. I'm sure someone would say a reverend and an activist. These two seems conflicting. Well, yes, you heard me right. He was a reverend, one that brings peace, and he was also an activist that is believed to, bring war. But this man was an activist, and he was fighting for the rights of Black people, Black Americans, because then it was believed that Blacks are inferior to their white counterparts. So in the mid-50s, this man was invited to a local church to preach, and he went, leaving his family back home. While he was rounding up his preaching, someone ran in and walked up to him with the bad news. And he whispered to this reverend, "Your house has been bombed." It wasn't funny. You would imagine what this man was thinking, what the reverend was thinking. He ran the race of his life just to get to his house. And while he got nearer to his house, he saw this crowd. He didn't even care about them, and he found his way through the crowd to get to his house. Just like the woman with the issue of blood, pushed through the crowd to get to Jesus. All he wanted was to get to his family. So when he got to the front door and he went through the door to the living room, he caught some breath when he saw that his wife and his child are still alive. He saw both of them alive and he was very happy. It was recorded that there were like 300 Black Americans waiting outside in front of his home, demanding for justice. They were hungry, they were bitter, they had guns in their hands, and they also, some of them even have broken bottles in their hands, because they believed that this attack came from the white supremacists, also called maybe anti-blacks. Despite the fact that there were police there, but the police were there to enforce law and order, these people were raging. They were raging in front. But while they were still raging, the reverend got to the living room and he saw his wife and his child still alive. He walked up to them, thank God, and he asked his wife, "Hope you're okay," with a pat, with a hug. "Hope you're okay." The woman couldn't even speak. You would imagine. She just nodded and said, and tears were rolling down her cheeks. The husband gave him a big hug again and then took the little daughter from her, kissed their daughter, and then gave his wife a big hug again. Remember, he had like 300 people waiting outside, demanding for justice. Now, he could go back outside to talk to those ones. Then he got outside and in his calm, usual calm and well-spoken manner, he said to them, listen, the most important thing to me is that my wife and my daughter are safe. Thank you. So he said to them, we can't do anything silly because we believe in law and order. And so he encouraged them to go home and drop their guns, drop their weapons, because he believed that he who lives by the sword will also die by the sword. So he discouraged violence totally. And he said to them, look guys, the solution to this is not violence. He said we need to meet hate with love, and that stuck with me. We need to meet hate with love. We need to love them. And at this point, something amazing happened. This crowd they were all ready to unleash on anybody, started drifting apart. They started drifting apart, and one after the other, they started going to their different homes, having the voice of this man in their heart. They all left. A night that's been full of chaos, uncertainty, don't know what would have happened, came to a moment of stillness. Amazing, awesome. There are many life lessons that could be learned from this story, but I've only picked 5 from it. If you discuss it and you have anything to add, please put it in the comment box. The first lesson is activists are associated with troublemakers, but this man chose to do things differently. He was a man of peace, and this was conveyed in his dealings in life and with everybody. He lived what he preached. He left a legacy of peace and integrity in the sand of time. And because of his peaceful nature, even the support for the civil rights increased after this event. Lesson 2. You don't have to go with the crowd. You can stand alone. And most times, when you stand alone, you stand out. And I know that one with God wins. Imagine his voice against 300 voices, but he won. So I encourage you, wherever you are, be a voice of peace and not of hate. Number 3 lesson: don't act in haste. Think before you act. Don't be superficial in your thinking, because when you make the unreasonable decision, it may get you in trouble. I know that sometimes a decision might be urgent, and if it's urgent, you can ask God for help. And if it is not, you can always give yourself time to ruminate on it until you come to a decision. Remember that every decision has a consequence. Lesson number 4. Don't pay evil for evil. Act in love. For example, someone lied about you to the teacher. Don't pay back by telling your friendship group not to play with them. Act in love. And lesson number 5. Fix your eyes on the goal. For example, in his case, the crowd wanted a protest, but he was not ready to give in to their violence. He was not ready to give in to their request. And because of this, he gained many more followership. By now, you should know who this honorable man is. And if you don't know, I'll tell you. He's gone through many challenges. This man faced so many challenges in life, but he came through and he came out strong. His name is Martin Luther King the Jr. Martin Luther King the Jr. He was a true leader indeed, and I so much respect him. I hope you have been challenged to be authentic to yourself. Till we meet again, stay safe and goodbye. Thank you.
Hey.